Pass just got another price hike and a confusing new subscription tier. Let's talk about it. This morning, Xbox announced it would overhaul the subscription tiers of its Game Pass platform. If you don't know what Game Pass is, it's kind of like Netflix for games. It's a similar kind of thing. What used to be a pretty simple and affordable service is now becoming kind of confused and pretty expensive. Now, originally, Game Pass only had 3 subscription tiers. There was Game Pass for PC and Game Pass for console, which would work on your PC or your Xbox, and Game Pass Ultimate, which combined the two with a couple of other perks. You could access a library of games, you could play them anytime you wanted, and they would work on either platform. It was great. One of the big draws for all 3 tiers was that it gave anyone who subscribed to them access to some of the platform's biggest games on the day of release. After news of the subscription changes started getting around, Xbox released an FAQ that detailed some of the changes about the Game Pass structure and how it's all going to look moving forward. And here's the top line stuff you need to know. Game Pass Ultimate is going up from $17 to $20 a month, and that will kick in for current subscribers in September. Game Pass for console is going away entirely. That subscription tier is just going to disappear. It's going to be replaced with a new one called Game Pass Standard. It's going to be $15 a month, just like the current Game Pass console subscription is. If you're already on that sub, it's just going to roll over. You'll just become a Game Pass Standard subscriber. The difference with this tier, however, is that Game Pass Standard is going to drop day one games entirely. These day one releases will now be a perk exclusive to Ultimate subscribers only, and those games will come to Standard subscribers later on, kind of the way the platform already works. The Game Pass for PC sub is going up a couple of bucks as well. It's going from $12 USD to $15 USD, and Windows Central reported that PC subscribers will in fact still get day one games. So it's just the console people who are getting done on this one. Game Pass Core, which is the cheapest tier, has sort of a static library of games that don't change all that much, is going up as well. Its annual charge will go up from $65 to $75 USD per year, but its $10 monthly sub isn't going to change. I don't know why. Game Pass has been in a really weird place for some time now, and these pricing changes, these subscription tier changes, kind of speak to that. Reports emerged over the last year or so that subscriptions to the service had kind of plateaued. Like, not many more people were subscribing to it. It kind of hit a peak and then it just continued on from there. Wasn't really growing. And then Xbox was really struggling to find more growth. The big takeaway from that is that day one games, a huge part of the Game Pass value proposition, are now being effectively paywall behind its most expensive tier. Day one drops, no matter which sub you had, were one of the platform's biggest draws. Xbox's hope here seems to be that people won't want to lose that perk and they might pony up a little bit more just to have it. The thing is, here in Australia, new release games are pushing up between like $110 and $120 now. Like, if you're asking Aussies whether they'd rather pay $120 flat for a new game or be able to play that game on launch day for $18.95 a month, I know which one they're going to pick, and they have been. This has made it really, really hard for major games to launch on Game Pass and make any money. Xbox itself has admitted previously that Game Pass dramatically impacts game sales overall. This is why it feels a little bit like Xbox has been tweaking a dial back and forth, trying to find a sweet spot for Game Pass that lets them deliver a high quality service, but also make a little bit of money as well. It's kind of like, if you can imagine someone just tweaking a dial back and forth, just like, would you subscribe to this one? Would this one work for you? No, it wouldn't. What about this? Still no? Fuck! Xbox Game Studios head Matt Booty called games like Tango Gameworks as Hi-Fi Rush. Game Pass successes by every possible metric. They did everything they needed to do and met their benchmarks internally. But those studios were still closed around a bunch of shock layoffs earlier in May. We've had this conversation before on like the old site. I'm sure you've seen it. If you read that site, I'm sure you saw it. It does trouble us that even if you succeed on Game Pass and you're an Xbox studio, that might still not be enough to save you, which really doesn't speak to the strong foundation the platform is built on. There's a real question of sustainability around Game Pass now. Like, it for a long time was the greatest deal in games for punters, absolutely no question about it, but it seems like it's become an increasing headache for Xbox as it tries to figure out how to make it profitable. And here we see the latest attempt to do just that. Let me know what you think in the comments. Would you pay more for day one games on Game Pass? Are you a game developer who's released games on Game Pass? And what was your experience like? Please get in the comments. Let me know.